Hello, everyone. This is China Frazier, and I'm here with you this morning from SCORE. SCORE is a nonprofit that helps people succeed in business, and I'm very happy to represent SCORE for the Chamber of Commerce. So today our topic is what to do when business is slow, and there are all kinds of businesses, of course. We're going to talk a little bit about business in general because we have a limited time frame, but I am going to talk at the end a little bit about seasonal business. So let's just start right at the very beginning. We all have up and down times with business. That's just the way it is. Some are slow, all the time and have a trickle-in business. Some are busy all the time and they're just working at their wits' end. And most businesses are kind of right in the middle where they have their peaks and valleys. So the first thing we want to remember, we're going to stream through this material because we have such a short time and I want to save time for questions. But the first thing you want to do is not panic. There are answers to slow business times. There are many things that we can do during slow business times that can actually augment and help our business. So you want to just not panic. You want to just sit still, kind of pay attention to the times when it is slow, document that, and see if there's any kind of a pattern over a period of weeks. Okay? Sometimes there are internal reasons for slow business, there are external reasons, and sometimes it's just a matter of trends. So we're going to be talking about a lot of those. The first thing I want to say is, first things first, for no real reason, if you can't see any particular reason why your business may be slow, and it usually is, doing pretty well, you want to sometimes think of it as a little bit of a break. For instance, we always suffer with our relationships when we're doing business with our family and our friends. And we have to remember that building business, the business that we do have usually starts there. If you are a retail business or even if you have your business online, most of the time, your first few clients or customers come from people that you know and who care about you, who may have even helped fund your business. So you may want to take a pause and take a little time just to be with those people who love and care about you and to build relationships with your customers and the people that you already have in your fold, and develop those relationships and remind them of what you're doing. Have fun, maybe go on a vacation, spend time with the kids. You can do that while still checking in with your business on a regular basis. If you have a retail, of course, you need to be there when business is slow, but you might still want to consider thinking more about your family and spending more quality time with them. So here's some do's and don'ts. Let's start with those, and I want you to keep them in mind while we're going through the rest of the slides. So here's what you do want to do. This is what you do want to do. Define the value of what you have to offer. What you have to offer and how you offer it depends a lot on the confidence you have in your own business. So you want to look at what you're doing, be clear that the value is there. If you're afraid that the value has kind of petered away, maybe because you haven't been paying attention or the quality of the service has gone down, or the product isn't as robust as it used to be, then you may want to focus on beefing that up. So define your value and work on that. The other thing you want to do is control your company costs and reduce the insufficiencies. We all spend way too much to begin with, and there are ways to trim and cut, and if your business is a little slow, you may want to look at some of those things. Do you need to spend a little less or find on a particular vendor? Do you want to call and make arrangements with them to cut the cost of what they're offering you somewhat because maybe you've been a loyal customer? Do you want to evaluate, if you have employees, the number of hours that they are with you? Are there any stagnant hours? Are you spending too much, maybe if you have a web-based business, on some peripheral items that aren't really marketing kinds of programs that aren't really bringing the results that you would like? So you want to look at all the controls, including your own salary, what you've been taking from the business, to see if you can cut down, kind of trim the fat. And then you want to invest in innovation. I don't know about you, but I know that every time I look up, there's some new technology that I want to implement. And technology, while it's beautiful and wonderful, it all takes time to learn. There's a little bit of a curve on just about everything new that we take on. So is there something that you can take advantage of that you didn't know about before, and learn it? Because the downtime will give you the time to do that. I watch a program on Saturdays called In Business, and I swear every single Saturday they have about 5 or 6 business people, it comes on PBS, I think it is, who talk about the technologies that they absolutely love in their business. And frankly, about the larger majority of them I hadn't even heard of, but these are successful business people using the technologies. And I think to myself, wow, I should, take advantage of one of those, and I have taken advantage of a couple. So here's some don'ts. You don't want to do this. You don't want to discount your products or services in order to compete. The first thing we think about is, I must be charging too much, and maybe I better reduce the price. But then all you do is go into a competing spiral with your competitors, and you end up kind of at the bottom of the rung and devaluing your own business. So don't do that. At some point, you can revisit what you're offering, and you may decide to raise the price instead of lowering it. Also, you'll have people who will always say, I want your business, I want what you're selling, but you're charging too much. Can't you give me a big fat discount? Well, don't get into a match with those people. If you know, like at the very first slide, if you have value in your business, you know what you're offering, make your case why you think that you're special and different. And, if they don't like it, then they're naysayers, and they can go get their product from somewhere else. So remember the value of your product. Make sure you priced it right to begin with, and stick to your guns. So the next slide is self-examination. And, if you haven't taken the time to really, when the business is slow, this is a great time to kind of look at yourself. You can say, look, the value of my time is good, so rather than just sitting around and worrying while my business is not real fast, let me just see what I can do to take a self-examination. Instead of looking at we have a tendency to look at the external world and blame it for things when they don't go wrong for us. We do this in relationships, we do it in business, we do it in every walk of our life, because most people are not very self-aware. So this is a good time to become self-aware with your business. I know you've done the work to beef it up to begin with, to create it, it's your baby, to work it and roll it out. But sometimes it's good just if times are a little slow to sit back and re-examine. So at SCORE, we spend a lot of time with people building their business plan, and most people think of it as a very mundane thing to do. But, I always tell the people that I counsel that it's a great way to re-examine what you're doing. No matter how big or small your business is, you can never take enough time to look at every area of your business. So there's a book called Business Plan in a Day. I put it on the slide, called by Rhonda Adams, and it's very simple. A book to read. It even gives you spaces to fill in about your own business, and it gives you a chance to really examine exactly every aspect. You may have forgotten about some area of your business. You may have forgotten, for instance, to do the demographics on what you're doing. You think there's a need because people are asking for X, Y, Z, but if you really do the demographics and you really go to the trouble to go to the databases and pull out how many people are really in your area that need your business, how much competition do you have, how many people are likely to use your business based on numbers. If you haven't done that kind of work and your business is slow, that might be a good way to find out why it's slow and make some changes. Now, there are internal and external factors that affect us. Some things we can influence and some things we can't. External factors, trends that are going on outside of ourselves. One example would be, for instance, the typewriter. I had a lady years ago who used to do a lot of typing for me. She had a really cool business down near the corner of my house. She just typed out everything that I needed on her electric typewriter. And then here come computers, So the whole industry around typewriters, which was huge, went down because of innovation. And we see a lot of other things falling. So those are things that we can't control, but we can reshape and remold ourselves, of course. So you might want to do what's called a SWOT analysis, and I'm not going to go into that deeply right now, but it's SWOT if you don't know about it already, or if you haven't done it for your business, I highly recommend you do, because it helps you to engage the internal and the external factors associated with your business. So it's really easy to find many templates to do this online. Just look under SWOT, S-W-O-T, analysis, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And do that for your business. Just, if you're a family, do it with your family. Get them to help you, or your employees, get them to help you do that analysis. And I also put in here 8 factors that determine the health of your business, which I found on entrepreneur.com. I love entrepreneur.com. It's a great website with lots of innovative information that you can take advantage of to help you, and just type in keywords and pull up anything you like that will help you with your business. And so, by the way, I do recommend that you do a lot of reading and gathering of information when your business is slow. It's a great time to do it. So next slide, here are some things to do also that are not so much diagnostic, that you can do when times are slow to kind of look at your own offering. So I've been reading a little bit about people who've been, of course this isn't a new idea, but for instance, our cable companies bundle services. It's really hard to get, a good value on a landline all by itself, or on your cable by itself, or even on your TV and all the channels. We almost have to bundle them now to get the best rate on everything. So there are lots of examples of people who, during slow times or even any time, bundle their services, charge more and than they normally would, during regular times. And if it's really a good value still, they'll buy it, not as much as your regular products or services, but it might get you through some of those leaner times. I think that's a really good idea. I actually follow a website for a couple, or actually a married couple, who teach everybody, Mission Rob, about traveling the world and doing your business while you're traveling internationally. And they do a lot of that, bundling of their books and their products. They have a lot of information about how to travel the world successfully while you're doing your business, and technology mainly related, where you can do it, online. And they do a lot of bundling. They have a lot of success with it. So you can also revisit your expenses. We've also talked a little bit about that already. And here, we got to move a little quickly here. We've already talked a little bit about revisiting your expenses and trimming where you can, and checking out the new technology. I love that. Technology does take time to learn and get it really enmesh in your business so it works for you, and, tweak it and figure out how you can flow with it. So downtime is a perfect time to do that. I don't know about you, but that's my hardest chunk of time to put aside to do the technology, because it takes up so much time. And then the value of your time. This is a hard one to get across to entrepreneurs, because we have a tendency to want to do everything ourselves, because we think we do it the first time and do it right instead of teaching other people. But you know what? Successful people have teams around them. All of them do, and you know it. So stop doing the routine, mundane stuff that someone else can do with a very little direction, and put all of your efforts and energy into reconnecting with your customers and your clients. There's so much value there. Calling them up, creating some more additional, relationship material to talk with them about. They may help you more with your business. They'll certainly tell their friends. And people love people who value their opinion. So do that, work on your marketing, and like I said, cut back in some areas and beef it up in others. Try some new things. Do your diagnostics. Other people can't really do that for you. Innovation is a challenge, and you are the one who knows your business better than anybody. So take the front line, do the tough stuff, do the stuff nobody else can do, and please, please let anybody else, a virtual assistant, employ a part-time friend, even if they're retired, your mom, your dad, anybody who has time in their life to help you do those mundane tasks, please hand them off. Okay, and here are more things to do. Reconnecting, I just can't emphasize that enough. That is the base of your business. Reconnect with your vendors. Ask them, if they have anything new and innovative going on in their arenas that they can pass on to you. I cannot overemphasize the value of people's opinions. You don't have to take them all and use them, but people appreciate people who ask their opinion. It is shocking how many people are walking around the world that have a lot of knowledge and information. Nobody ever asks them a question. So take the time. If I had all the time in the world, I would spend it at places like the Chamber of Commerce, going to the meetings and talking with everyone and finding out who people are, what they do. If you ask enough questions or help enough people, you'll always have a full life, and your business will be successful if you're doing something that matters and can help people. So stand out in the crowd. You might want to spend some time thinking of more interesting and clever ways, which goes back to talking with people, too, about what they do, and doing some things in your business that really raises eyebrows. I mean, right now we've got a perfect example of that. Front and center, which is Donald Trump. He has reinvented the wheel with finding new ways to engage people. I'm not, a Trump supporter particularly, but I am very awed by what, the way that he has just put politics, flipped it around. And I think that's a good thing. Another example would be, I read about a guy that had a furniture store, and they were, already doing really good business, but they wanted more. So they set up like a rodeo, alongside their furniture store, and they set up a little IMAX theater to show kids movies while the people were shopping, and they brought in some live horses, and at one point they rode around the store on the horses, and this just garnered a lot of attention, and people just wanted to go to the store to see these activities, and all you want to do is get people through the door, get them to click for a minute on your website and see what you have to offer. So think out of the box. We think a lot about our businesses. We focus and concentrate. So it's really hard to do that in a vacuum. So talk to people. Still more. Collecting those email addresses, you can use them off and on season. If there are poisonous personalities in your business, get them out because they don't help you. And this is a good time to reevaluate your who's working with and around you, whether they're your employees or even just in your circle of friends. Put up a shopping cart. Look around and figure out how you can sell something if you don't have, or sell something more. Do a 10 commandments of customer service. Write down the things that you like the best or you think would help people the most. Even calling clients, if you're a web-based business or even a retail business, call your clients and ask them what their experience was like. Is there anything you can change, or something about their order that you wanted to ask them? And the media, we forget about the handwritten word now because we're so technology-driven. You might want to learn how to write a press release if you haven't done that. I can tell you from personal experience, if you're willing to write an article and shop it around to a couple places, people who have these publications, particularly now, are dying for people who will not just write an article to fill their space, but will become a regular contributor. So don't forget to learn how to do that and shop your little articles around about your business. Check for trends. I have a funny story about that, but I won't tell it now. Okay, so if you have a seasonal business, then I suggest that you really visit these slides. And we're almost out of time. I have some good recommendations for you on the slides. They're kind of self-explanatory. And the last page is about SCORE and how you can take advantage of what we have to offer. So I'd like to open it up now for questions. We have about 5 minutes left if there are any.
Again, if you'd like to ask a question, you can type it into the chat box on the bottom left corner of the screen. And you can also press *7 on your phone to unmute your line. They are anonymous questions, so feel free to ask anything you'd like. it doesn't look like we have any questions right now. If you want to expand a little bit more on the off-season tips.
Okay, I'll be happy. I'm more than happy to do that if we don't have any questions. Okay, so when you're off-season, it's a little bit different. It's a great time to grow your database. I mean, I keep telling all the people that I counsel with that there's nothing more solid gold than your email addresses, and there's no better place to collect them than the chamber when you come to their activities, because you meet different people at every activity. And, that goes for anywhere. I mean, you can strike up a conversation with somebody when you're standing in the line at the movies, for goodness sakes, and just tell them, there's something that you were talked about that you want to share with them. It doesn't have to be about your business. Remember that relationships grow out of just who you are and not necessarily out of what you do. And we want to slather people to death with what we do, but it's not necessary. Once you have somebody's attention on a subject that they may be interested in, then you've got them, and you can talk about what you do. An example is I'm a real estate agent, but, I don't talk about that at the store because I'm not there to talk about that. But you wouldn't believe how many people have purchased real estate from me because they met me through or didn't even know I was practicing real estate, and we're talking about something, and it came up maybe 6, 7, 8 months after I met them, and I started giving them information of people who may be able to help them, and they ended up using me. So relationships are just that. They're based on who you are. So don't worry about what you sell when you meet people in public. Just ask them questions. That's it. Grow that database. Customer reviews. People love to talk about what they've done, so be sure and get them to comment on anything that you've done for them. Don't be surprised if it isn't what you expected it to be, but most of the time they won't even give you a review if it isn't a pretty good one. But work on those in the off-season through telephone calls and so forth to your customers to get them to a good excuse to call them. I'd love you to do a review for me. And you can continue working on what you do in your season when you're off-season. And I have some perfect examples of that right here on this page, so I'm not going to go over them in too much detail. But for a business, for instance, that has something to do with growing fruits and vegetables or selling them, then this page on the 8 ways is perfect. Staying social, ramping up your email connections, off-season hype about what to do when your season does come. I mean, we all see that, like from the airlines. You just start getting, and even with fashion, you start hearing about the next season and all the hype associated with that at least 3 months before, or a couple months, 1 month after the season begins. Like summer's coming, way back around, was it Valentine's Day? The airlines started, promoting summer vacations. And soon, here comes summer. With about 2 weeks into summer, we'll start hearing about skiing vacations and so forth. And be sure to differentiate yourself. Do something really special and different. For instance, I said here, this bakery, their seasons work around the holidays. So when they're off holiday or off a time when people want to buy a lot of baked goods, this little bakery here said, well, we'll hype up our gluten-free and our sugar-free products to people who have a market, so we can create a little market for that. That you can do that in any business at all and for any reason at all. Just takes a little bit of thought and imagination. Always be sure and go online and use your keywords to search across the Internet. You'll come up with so many amazing ideas that are either tandem to or across your business somehow that you can glean from. You don't have to make everything up from scratch. So that's it for today. I hope that you have gotten a few little tips. Please take the slides and download them if Danica provides a way for you to do that. Over there at the Chamber, I've enjoyed talking with you, and I so much appreciate your time.
Well,
please come see us. You're welcome.
Thank you so much, China, and definitely if you guys want to get these slides, feel free to contact the Chamber, or it'll be behind the members-only portal at lvchamber.com. It'll be on that front page. So thank you so much again to China. Just a quick reminder that our last Chamber University of the semester is next Friday at 10 a.m. And Dave Linden, who's the founder of The Largest Mixer, is going to be talking about how to maximize your trade show experience. So definitely check that out, and thank you all so much for joining us today.
Thank you.